FUTWIZ fan, as long as you get a positive result, a draw or a win will work. You're moving in the right direction. You put yourself in a position to be able to control the final outcome, which is, I think, all you could ask for when you have so many of the top teams in one group.
Yeah, and as we saw from the standings a few minutes ago, RB Leipzig, they're top of the group with 3 points ahead of second. They have 2 games yet to play. One of them, if I'm not mistaken, is against Blue United. So I'm honestly thinking RB Leipzig, they go ahead 17 points potentially, and Team FUTWIZ and Guild fighting for second.
Absolutely. And as you're tuning in here, we have FUTWIZ, of course, in the white kits, and then we have Guild in the darker kits. And we did see one early mistake made from Nicolas99fc, but I don't think FUTWIZ was necessarily ready for it. They didn't capitalize, and it could have been an early opening goal, and that's so important in matchups where there's additional pressure. Yeah,
most definitely. I think Team FUTWIZ, compared to Guild, maybe don't have as much experience. But Nicolas, the Iceman, we know what we're talking about. Whereas Team FUTWIZ, as good as they are, for example, NiKSNEB, this is his first major EA event.
Oh, great pass, Mbappe turn, second opportunity, huge save from Van der Sar, big mistake, and Van der Sar's there again. It was green, time finished, but it didn't have that extra emphasis, and I heard there's an update in the other match. That means somebody must be scoring and somebody must be conceding. Take us to it. Blue United, RB Leipzig, probably against the run of play from what we've seen today with form. Could it be that Blue gets points off RB Leipzig, and does that really matter for the group?
I think it does definitely matter because they could be potentially fighting for second. But let's see what Team FUTWIZ have in store for us.
Big takeaway. Great lob there. R9 takes it down. Who else? Van der Sar cannot be stopped. Those legs are special. The hands, magnificent. Big body, corner kick. Expect this to go direct. Whips it in. Rude hold it. Back post. Green. Time. Finish. You can't stop that goodness. Long hair. Don't care. And he converts. It's gorgeous. And I was just going to ask you, we've seen so many direct corner kicks, so many direct free kicks this year. Of course, everything around set pieces has been reworked. How do you feel about it?
I like the free kicks. I am not the biggest fan of corners just because at times they can feel undefendable. But if you master them as an attacking technique, they are basically free goals.
And I just got hit with production. We've got updates in the other game. Another goal is being scored. Is it a quick rebuttal? It is indeed. You see those nasty step overs. Van der Sar, big save. Rude Hullet, winning headers. What else is new? R9, again with the step overs across the body. It's just so hard to defend. And I brought it up in the previous cast because I was here with Rich. What is it about step overs? It just puts you in these positions where you don't know what to do, the shimmy, the shake. How are you stopping them?
If you were to analyze the step over as a skill move, kind of in slow motion or in an instant replay, you can see that the animation itself gives the ball some sort of an unnatural boost, so to speak. So I think that's what makes it very, very hard to defend. And when you pair it up with the fact that you have Anders and Uma doing it, it's even harder. It plays on your mental game, on your mental side of things. And you're kind of panic defending. You see Anders on the ball, you know a step over is coming. What do you do about it? What side? Left, right, forward, backwards? You don't know what to do.
They're just putting so much pressure. A lot of space here. Mbappe from Rude Hullet looking for the return. You see some of those step overs, ball rolling, good defending from Virgil van Dijk. Could it be another corner kick? Indeed it is. This is kind of scary. You got Capdevia, and it's all about isolating those tall players and allowing them to try to win some of those 50-50s. Back post, Rude Hullet for a double. And I talked to them before the day. They were saying that they feel good with the corners. You see it on display, 2 for 2, 2-0, and maybe the biggest and here, I've been told, I didn't do the permutation, so don't come after me, but the winner of this game is going to claim that second place. They control their destiny, and this is that decider. Also, we have goals in the other game, or a goal in the other game, so we have to check in on that. I'm telling you, when I'm here, doctor, we get goals. Mbappe, ball roll, finish. As you see it, 2-1. A little more of the old school classic FIFA goal.
As I said, according to plan. RB Leipzig, first place. Team FUTWIZ, second place. They have one game in hand to Guild Esports, who are playing their last game. So if they don't win, they're out.
That's why we stress this game really being the decider, because this is the last game of the day for Guild. So if FUTWIZ is able to win this here, they close it out.
I think even if they draw it, they would be on 11 points and Guild would be on 12. So Guild would be 1 point ahead, but Team FUTWIZ would still have 1 game in hand.
You don't necessarily want to go into that. That puts a lot of pressure on your final game, but you get a second helping, a second chance. You can't lose the game. And we might see early shifts or early changes here from not only FUTWIZ from maybe a defensive end, because they're sitting here doing some of those calculations, they're doing the math, but also even for Nicolas and dsaanchez going for it, maybe starting to commit a little bit earlier. This is their tournament. And what else? We have more goals on the other side. It has been a goal fest. Mbappe, step overs. Ronaldo, maybe some more step overs. Nope, he's going to go for the forward additional burst of space, burst of touch. R9, 6-yard box, green time finish. And I don't think the blue United upset, maybe taking some points off the champs or off the current #1 is going to happen.
I mean, having watched RB Leipzig all game, one more corner for Team FUTWIZ before I continue with my thought, because
you see what they're planning. You see what they're planning. They're setting it up.
Hat-trick.
They go
Still
short.
back post.
They heard you. They saw it. The isolation was there. Vieira with the step over. One more pass. Doesn't quite connect. I think that's Johan Cruyff stepping through the midfield. You don't necessarily see him used in the starting 11. I've noticed a lot of players in terms of their player selections. Zidane has now been a constant. We're seeing a Virgil van Dijk back in action. And then we're seeing Eusebio. We're seeing Cruyff one or the other. And I'm hearing, again, more updates, more goals. Let's see if it's going to be another one of these counterattacks. It is. Pele, ball roll, extra pass, Mbappe, step over. It's a rinse, wash, repeat. You just can't stop the pressure.
40th minute, 4-1 down. And I think as I was saying, having watched RB Leipzig play all day, going 1-0 up against them, Anders is not taking that well. He's fired up. When the game's drawn, he's angry. Let alone when Blue United scores first against you, you're not happy. And I'm thinking Anders took it personally, and he's out. He's out for blood.
Oh, that should have been converted. A little bit of good fortune maybe at the edge of the box, but when you get that right on the D with R9, you got an open pass, it has to convert. Mbappe into space, off the counter. At this point, you almost say just go for the corner kicks. Try to draw some more corner kicks, because clearly Nicolas and dsaanchez are a little bit stressed out trying to defend him. You're sitting here 2 for 3, 66% on the conversion rate. And as they're building up here, let's see if we can do this quickly. There's been another goal in the other game. Who else? Jarzinho. Here we go, looking for space. Helpers. Ruud Gullit. Extra pass. Zidane.
Wow.
Step over. 5-star weak foot. Does not matter. Across the body. And you don't see that often.
Not from the edge of the box. I don't expect a green time finish long shot there. I do expect it to go in, but I'm not expecting that shot to be taken.
Uh-oh. R9's working again. Looking for space. Cruyff. Love it. Is it there? Hey, oh! That is something spectacular. And it's got to be said, I've been in this position before. You were watching. We saw them go up 4-0 last time they were in action against Leipzig, and they kind of threw that game away. They weren't able to see it out. I'm sure this halftime talk will be different. 3-0. What a way to close out the half. And what a finish. You saw that body feint. You have a little bit of a different re-angle. Goalkeeper off his line. Whew. It was something that memorable. But I'm hearing that Brandon is with Dan, owner of FUTWIZ. Let's see what he has to say. I'm sure it's going to be all sorts of positivity.
Thank you very much, Mike. And yeah, I'm with a man that is probably keeping it hard right now in terms of not smiling. He's 3-0 up his team at the moment down. What a start. So close to qualification right now.
Very, very close. 45 minutes away. Just got to keep it tight. Obviously, in match week 1, we had a bit of an issue against constant press, so it's just making sure we can defend against that and see it out.
And how much would it mean to the boys? I know there's a lot of hard work that goes behind the scene. You've got your own HQ now in Milton Keynes. How much would it mean today to get that top 8?
I'll be massive. I mean, the boys came very close to making an event last year. Worked really hard, but didn't get the due. So hopefully, this is the year that they really show that they're one of the best in the world, if not the best.
Thank you very much for your time. 45 minutes away, Team FUTWIZ are for qualifying for the knockout stages here in London.
Thank you so much, Brandon. And he was definitely holding in a big smile. That grin might be the most you're getting out of Dan, but he is ready to take the boys out if they get this job done. FUTWIZ, I don't know if you feel like this, but it's been one of those teams that's been a maybe team, an almost team. They've been able to get themselves into positions, but they always have something happen where they don't maybe advance as far as they should. The talent is there, but it's a bad bounce, a missed opportunity. Something goes wrong for them.
I mean, you look at last year, Team Season Cup qualifiers. They came so close. They played the game to qualify. I think they lost both games coming from the winner bracket. They were close to qualifying for that. They played E-Premier League, which is not technically a 2v2 event, but you play together as a team. So they've been almost there.
Space to work with. Goes for the shot. Was hoping that the goalkeeper's going to shoot there, or just slightly shift there, excuse me, with Van der Sar. Doesn't catch him sleeping. And now we have a corner kick for Guild.
I think one thing you have to take into consideration as well, you mentioned Dan not being way too happy, is because he is wary of the constant press. We know what happened last week.
He's also seen it all. He's got a lot of experience. And speaking of a couple players that have the experience, and they've seen a lot so far, and I think they're scoring more goals. Here we go. Jarzinho again, down the wing. If it doesn't have a step over, I'm disappointed. Going for a classic. Oh, stop the shimmy, stop the shake and bake. You don't even see them popping off anymore. It is getting ugly in the other match.
They are
ugly in the other match.
They are playing for the goal difference, because although now that I think about it, it won't really matter. They are 4 points ahead with 1 round to go. They are locked in for first. Team FUTWIZ would be locked in for second if the results stay as they are.
And I thought they looked beatable last time we saw them in action, and they were able to get some big results and some comebacks. They faced some adversity, but today, those two have been unstoppable. A lot of space, takes it down, goes for the first time finish. Might want to have that back with Eusebio there. It should really be converting. You had enough time to work it out. You see Ruud Gullit, he's posted up. Cruyff, step overs. Pele, looking for the entry pass, doesn't find the entry pass. There's a leak out here, a lot of space. You got the burner into that action. Oh, I thought it was going to be somebody.
Yeah, and you see from the corners, Team FUTWIZ, they scored 2 corners that were identical, and then they haven't tried it since. They haven't tried a third time around. They've tried 2 different set pieces, keep Guild on their toes, especially since you're not looking necessarily for the goal. You're 3 goals up. You're looking to play it short, keep the ball, do something dangerous, wait for your center backs to go back in position.
Well, the main reason they're doing that is to try to avoid being counterattacked off the corner kicks, right?
Most definitely. One of the main issues.
Oh! 3-1. And we have a
3-1.
goal. It came out of nothing. It was fumbling around, a misclearance, a misstep, but now you have hope. And then also, if you're FUTWIZ, and I'm not here to manifest any negativity, they've seen this happen before, and we know the constant press is lethal.
Some players call it the magical button.
Oh.
I know former world champion Moaba, that's his trademark saying, and I think that's what we're going to be expecting from Guild Esports.
I hope we get a second camera on Dan, the owner. I don't know what's going to happen in this game, but we saw smiles at halftime. I'd like to see some of those reactions. You see a little bit of concern on Ethan's face, NiKSNEB's face, Denman, the coach. Everybody feels as if they've been in this position before, and they haven't necessarily seen it out. I mean, we could be talking about FUTWIZ coming in to this week already having clenched, because they were incredible last time we saw them in action. They just didn't have that closeout gene.
And let's not forget, they have thrown leads. Again, I don't want to repeat it, but it has.
But we're
been a
repeating it.
The fact is, in my opinion, that if Guild score the next goal, we're looking at a draw.
Oh. Pele. Mbappe, beautiful heel to heel. Maybe should have got off that, overthought it a little bit with the extra step over. And the problem is now, as you're committing body, there's so much space to work with. Pele, looking for options. Can he find something on the end line? Pulls it back. A little bit of dribbling, good whipped in cross. Virgil van Dijk always going to win that header.
And I think one of the main issues when you play against constant press is not only it's hard to play out from the back, but even when you're in your opponent's third, and when you lose the ball there, you always have 4 players of your opponent's team at the halfway line ready to counter, because they are there pressing the defenders. So whenever you lose that ball, they don't need to run up the pitch, they're already there.
Oh, here's a step over. R9 again, big save from Van der Sar. Did not take the bait. Sometimes you're using those step overs again just to see if the goalkeeper will slightly shift one direction or the other. We've seen the corner kicks, particularly in this series, mean so much. Again, looking to isolate your best jumpers, your most lethal aerial pursuit. Saw the back post, goes short. What a pick out. Pele again with Van der Sar stepping and cutting off some of the angles. Maybe should have had an extra pass.
I think they'll be kicking themselves. I think as you shoot that ball, you see the extra pass. You see the clear 100% or 99% chance. But very good keeper movement for Team FUTWIZ.
FUTWIZ can't keep the ball. Can't keep the ball at all. It's easier said than done. I'll be fair to them, but you can't lose the ball in these positions, and you've got to slow down the game as they kind of run it out. Another pause has been queued. 71st minute. At least time is on their side. But yeah, if we could rerun that play, maybe take one of those little analyzing moments. that extra pass had to be on for Vieira, and that was the tap-in, surely.
Again, hindsight 2020. When you're playing, when you're in the game, especially in a 2v2 format, in 1v1 maybe it's different. Maybe you're thinking, if I driven past this to my teammate, maybe he's not ready. Maybe he takes a touch, keeper saves it. Maybe it's better for me to shoot with R9 than to tap it into Vieira so close to the keeper. Again, it's always decision making, hindsight. If it works out, good thing I didn't pass it. If it doesn't work out, why didn't I pass it? So it's one of those where it's over, you forget about it, you move on, you have 2 goals to score, keeper hopes alive.
And even with Nicolas being so successful and having so many accolades and accomplishments, I would still say that he's in the peak of his career right now. Still hungry. He's still pushing for results. Last year, he was fantastic. We also saw Nicolas qualify for ECL. We saw the likes of Ethan and NiKSNEB qualify for the ECL event as well. And that just tells you the kind of form these guys are in 1v1 settings, which plays a factor here when you go back to teaming up in a 2v2, that they're able to mix and match and be able to integrate 2 different types of game plans. You've competed in both at the same time. Sometimes that can be very tricky being able to adjust.
It's indeed very difficult, especially last week I believe we had a calendar consisting of 2v2, 1v1, 2v2. So it's very difficult for some of these players.
Uh-oh, space to work with. Vinicius off the bench, taking that space against Virgil van Dijk. Extra pass, Mbappe goes for the cancellation, doesn't work out. Kyle Walker shifting, and Nkunku. Rude hole it. That's rare. You don't see that too often at the competitive side of the scene. Maybe a little bit early on, but you had the new shot come into play. What's your verdict on the power shot?
You know what you also don't see too often? The power shot camera zoom being left on.
You're not wrong. And this is a great position here for FUTWIZ. They can kill some clock. Of course, drawing another corner kick. They'll probably go short here, and if they're smart, I would say they're going to resurface, recycle, maybe one switch of the pitch, and make sure if they lose the ball, that they lose it down the wings. Don't lose it down in the middle of the pitch.
Agreed, fully agreed. That being said, I do think the power shot is very effective. It looked to be very effective at the start of the year, but as the pro meta developed, take him out.
Take him down. Take him down. That's what I was thinking. Take him down.
Do that professional foul.
Oh, no. A lot of space here to work with. Nkunku. Ball roll. Looking for options. Can he find options? Not quite. Yeah, big step. That might be enough. Does he go deep? He's got to go deep. That's smart.
He's going to get it. He's going to get it because the linesman is still running, so you know he's going to get the ball.
I've never looked at that. That is a great added tip. I love that. Rewind that. Keep it on repeat.
I think if Team FUTWIZ managed to keep the ball until the 86th minute, it should be over. Even if you concede a goal, you're conceding it, 88th minute? From there on, 3 minutes, it's doable, but you really have to throw it. I think Team FUTWIZ, we can safely say they're not losing this game. It's, I think, theoretically close to impossible.
Worst case is a tie.
Worst case is a tie, so I would say they have their fate in their own hands. And it's about wasting time, running down the clock, potentially going for more, but I don't think you need to. Offside, but I don't think it's going to matter that much.
I always say in FIFA that nothing's impossible. After seeing the Sean Allen, and I'm sure that he doesn't want me to bring that up, but in the finals of the FIFA World Cup, and giving away 2 goals like that late, and I just didn't think it was possible to not win that final in the position he was in. Perfect clearance there. So much space. It's staying into play. Wrap it up. Shake my hand. GG's. Congratulations to Team FUTWIZ. They're pushing through. On to the next round. In my opinion, this has been the best team that they've put together. Not only 2v2s, but also 1v1s. Both these guys have been performing constant for the last couple seasons, and I feel like they're working together so well.
As we've said, Dan said it as well. I think they've had the misfortune last week of not having more points. I think they had a very, very unlucky times last year in both 2v2 and 1v1 combined aspect. So it was time for them to get some rub of the green.
And I don't have the bracket in front of me, but I'm pretty confident that they're matching up against Fnatic as their opening matchup in the bracket stage. And what a matchup that is. Team FUTWIZ versus Fnatic. And we have the likes of Diogo and Tex.